and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we're going to talk about tired. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. Okay. So earlier today, I'm reading the Bible. I'm in Matthew 14, and this is the part of the story or the part of the Bible where it talks about Jesus and how he loses John. Because King Herod is doing this thing, and the daughter of a woman comes along, and she's like, I need you to do this thing for me. And he's like, okay, whatever you want me to do, I'll give you whatever it is that you want me to give you. So she says, I want the head of John the Baptist. So he sends the soldiers out. They go out. They behead John the Baptist, and they come back. They serve his head on a platter, and the daughter brings the head to her to her mother. And I know you're probably thinking this went deep quick. Listen, probably should have did a disclaimer before. I'm gonna make sure I drop that on the YouTube video and in the comments below this one as well, just for young ears and for people that don't have the stomach for stuff like that. So yeah, so that happened. And Jesus, of course, was upset because, if you know the Bible, you know that John the Baptist was one of like the biggest names that's in the Bible. And so he goes to just separate and like have some time to himself, to distance himself. And in the time where he's feeling like he needs this space, which I can understand, because if you're missing someone, if you lost someone in your life, sometimes you do feel like you need space from people. Sometimes you feel like you need this isolation period to work on yourself in the dark, so that when you're finished healing, when you're finished going through whatever it is that you're going through, then you could be new. You could be made new. All of the things that were stopping you in the past will no longer hold you back, and that pain can be pushed into purpose. Speaking of purpose, so as Jesus decides to leave, the multitude follows him. And most people would have at this moment been like, all right, people, I'm gonna need y'all to back up. Like back, stop following me. Why are you all up in my space? Why are you all up in my face, right? But Jesus wasn't like that. Jesus was like, okay, well, these people follow me. I'm tired, I'm sad, I lost my boy, everything else. I'm going to help these people. Most of us would have been like, nah, they need to go somewhere, find somebody else, something else to do, because I don't have the energy for this right now. But even with the low energy, Jesus fed 5,000. Not only did he do that, but then he leaves and he travels. He tells the disciples to go on the boat and he'll meet them. And he sees them in the distance. He walks on water, and Peter says, Jesus, if it's you, tell me to come to you. Peter gets up, walks on the water, and he starts to see the storm. The storm in the background is making all this noise and winds picking up and everything. And he starts to lose a little faith. He forgets that he's in Jesus's presence and that he's capable of walking on water. All of a sudden he's like, oh no, I shouldn't be able to do this. And he starts to fall and he says, Jesus, help me up. And Jesus puts out his hand, lifts him up out of the water, and he's safe. But it made me think about how sometimes when we get tired, we start to give up on ourselves. We want this isolation period. We want to feel like all we want to do is just what we want to do. We forget about serving. We forget about helping other people. We forget that even if we get into the presence of God, it's enough strength to be able to help us push through the things that we're going through in life. And sometimes it could feel like it's going to last forever. Like this heartbreak is going to last forever. This pain of this loved one that I lost is going to last forever. These things that I'm going through in life, this bad season or this bad moment, it always seems like you got to live there. Like that's your entire life, but it's just the moment of your life. And I want people to take a moment and really think about some of the things that in the past that they held on to for too long in this moment. Take a moment and think, what are some things that you need to let go of right now and release it? Stop letting it hold rent-free space in your head. Like in between your ears is your mind, and your mind is the thing that you need to use to be able to push yourself forward. Don't worry about what everyone else is saying. Don't worry about lending your ear, your eye gaze to the wrong things. Like really focus in on things that are going to help you heal, help you become a better person. Really focus on how you can serve, how you can help people. And so, and when you get into a tired season, I wrote down the three things that have helped me in the past when I get really exhausted, when I'm tired, when life feels like it's just coming at me so hard and I just don't know how I'm going to keep going. But God, right? And so the first thing that I do is rest. I ask God to give me the rest spiritually and physically. And I know some people don't get that because you're like, well, as long as my body gets the rest, I'm good. But sometimes you get emotionally exhausted. Life can sometimes suck the emotion out of you. It can suck the joy away from you. It can make you feel like, what's the point of having hope? What's the point of believing? What's the point of trying to seek these things in life that you so desire? The point is that you have to keep going. The point is that you have to keep believing. The point is that regardless of what's going on in your life, even if it looks like it's no way it's possible, know that it's possible with God. You cannot give up on the thing that you're fighting so hard for. You did not come this far to give up now. You did not go through all the things that you went through to say, all right, I throw in the towel. That's it. I'm giving up right now. Like, no, you didn't make it through all of that. There's no way that God brought you through all the things that you've been through in your life for this to be the thing that stops you from going after your dreams. For this to be the thing that stops you from being in a healthy relationship. For this to be the thing that stops you for growing and expanding your business. For this to be the thing that stops you from opportunity that God opened the door for you from. There's a no way that you can allow this one instance to define your entire life. This is just a period in your story. And I don't mean period like that's the end of the sentence. I mean, this is like a section, an area, a point in time. It's not everything. God is everything. And your story continues. The second thing is not being double minded. Sometimes we want to live in the world and we want God's presence at the same time. We be like, God, how I am. God's still working on me. I used that before, but God is really always working on us because we're always healing. We're always growing. We're always evolving for the rest of our lives. And so sometimes we wear ourselves out mentally trying to live in both fields, trying to be in the world and in God. We be trying to be out here in these streets and trying to be saved and wholly sanctified at the same time, or we be trying to be the good person and the bad person at the same time. Pick a side. Being double-minded is only exhausting you physically and emotionally. It's making you emotionally drained because instead of you telling that guy who's a friend that, hey, y'all are just friends, you keep on going back and forth like, I just like the attention. I like someone giving me compliments. I like this. I like that. You might like this, but it's not about you. You got to be a little selfless in this area and not just have people in your life just because it makes you feel good. You have to make sure that you're thinking about other people besides yourself. And also, it could look this way in a relationship. You could say, I want this. I want that. I want him to do this at this time, at this place, when I want this, how I want this, and this is why I want this. But it's not all about you. Sometimes we forget, we get so arrogant and we get so egotistical and thinking that it's all about us. Like, it's as long as I'm happy, but a relationship takes two people. It's not just about you being happy, it's about you both being happy, being together. That you making the effort to intentionally try to make sure that you're serving each other and being selfless to yourself to make sure that you are making sure that person is okay, not just you. And that's for every relationship. That goes with family, that goes with friendships, that goes with romantically as well. Because sometimes we really like things so much in our lives that sometimes we don't think about how the other person feels about doing all these things. Like, just because you're friends with someone who's a giver doesn't mean that you just keep taking. That means that you give as well. Just because you're with this guy and he treats you really well doesn't mean that you don't treat him really well and you only think about yourself. You have to really consider the other person as well. Just because you're at a job and they give you all of these bonuses and things doesn't mean that you don't give back to your job. You don't give back time, you don't give back effort, you don't go and study more courses to learn to be a better associate, to have more skills so that you can be more qualified or whatever else in your field. You have to make sure that you're learning the skills and techniques so that you can grow, so you can add something back to that. And when you're indecisive, that can drain your energy. So let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you don't have to worry about overexhausting yourself. And the very last thing is serving. I was going to say something else that was a lot cooler, but nothing makes me feel more joy than when I'm serving somebody else. When I'm going places to help out places or doing different things in life, whenever I give like time or give money or resources or whatever else it is, it really helps me feel like I'm not being selfish. You know, it really helps me because I get to see other people smile and other people see the effect that it makes when I'm helping out, when I'm doing things in a serving, cheerful, joyful heart. It really does make me feel full on the inside. And I don't feel exhausted. It's like the energy that I get from them fills me up. And I know some people could say, well, I'm serving because I'm doing all these things and it makes me look good. No, it's so funny because you think you're helping somebody else when you serve, but really they're pouring into you. When you go and you serve somebody else, when you're helping them with whatever it is, whether you volunteer at the school and your kid goes to school there, or it's a different school, or you go to a soup kitchen. I know some people will say things like that, or you do like a nonprofit, or you create jobs for people in your community, whatever your serving looks like, or your time, you give time to places, or you give money to foundations that really help people out. Whatever your thing is that you're doing to serve, it will really pour into you more than you pour into it. I know we could think, well, they gave $1 million, but some people may do it for money just to look good. But when you do it anonymously, when you go help out places, it really does, for me, fill me up with a bunch of energy because I see how it makes me appreciate my life more. It makes me see that not everybody lives the way that I live or does the same things or gets to do the same things that I get to do, or not everybody in every country lives the same way or whatever it is, right? And so when I serve in different places, even if it's helping out some older lady at the grocery store or something else, it's just, it helps me because one day I'm going to be that old and I hope a young person does that for me. You know, one day I'm going to be at a place where I might have, something going on and I might need someone's help. But I'm not doing it because I want to receive help from someone else. I'm doing it because I want to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And that really allows me to fuel up on energy. When you really focus in on what it is that you need to do in purpose, that will be the thing that pours into you that allows you to be able to accomplish all the things that you need to accomplish in life. So stay focused and remember to get rest so that you can be rejuvenated and enter into the world. That's emotionally and physically. So go to counseling, write, journal, write, sketch, color, do ocean therapy where you go out on the water and you just kind of just sit in on the beach and just listen to the waves or whatever else. Listen to waves, listen to whale music, do whatever it is you got to do to recenter, refocus your mind so that you can just rest mentally. Like sometimes I'm mentally exhausted because I'm doing so much thinking because I'm an overthinker. And when I go to the water, it really helps calm me. When I go and get some rest and I actually sleep 8 hours or whatever amount of time, it actually makes me feel better physically. The water makes me feel better mentally, and talking to a therapist helps me emotionally and mentally so I can get out all of the things that are jogging down my brain so I can really just focus in on the things that I really need to do in life. And also, when you're double minded, I'm just reiterating the whole thing so that way you can have a little consolidated, condensed version. But even when you're out serving, just make sure that you do it from the right heart posture because it can drain you if you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, it will fuel you. And double mindedness, make a decision. Don't be on the fence about things. It's either yes or no, it's either this or that. And whatever the consequences or whatever comes after that, it just is what it is. You did it with the best of intentions. And if someone is hurt or something happens, in the fallout afterwards or whatever else because maybe you said something and it came off the wrong way, like you meant it the right way but they took it the wrong way, then just apologize. Like you didn't mean to make them feel like that. Don't just keep apologizing every time and then they just have a problem with you, period. I mean, like if someone is really hurt about something and you care about them, really acknowledge their feelings. Don't hold on to it and be beating yourself up like, oh, I should have never said this, oh, I should have never said this. You said it, acknowledge it, and accept it. Make sure your heart posture is in the right place. And if it is, you can let it go. Just let it go, release it off your shoulders. Don't even worry about it anymore. Allow yourself to just be who you are. You don't have to be anything else but the best version of you. So keep going, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, no, I will see you on Sunday. Bye.